Hey everyone, welcome to the 5th lesson in the CrowPanel-ESP32 Terminal Display Series tutorials. In this class, I'll guide you through how to display an LVGL demo on the CrowPanel-ESP32 display. Before we get started, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what's the LVGL library all about? Great question. LVGL is a graphics library that allows us to easily design beautiful interfaces using its provided functions. But you might also be asking, why do we need LVGL if we already have LVGL and GFX installed? Well, the LVGL and GFX library primarily provide display and touch driver functions for our boards. While they can be used to design interfaces, it's quite challenging for beginners as it involves writing a lot of code. With LVGL, you can create buttons, labels, sliders, graphs, and more with just a few functions. Therefore, more and more people are beginning to learn and use the LVGL library. Due to two screens use the same display driver library and work the same way, this video will explain the LVGL library demo of ESP32 RGB screen. Open the course files, locate the code folder for the 5th lesson, and open the corresponding code based on your board specification. After opening the code, you'll see comments related to LVGL reminding you that when you want to use LVGL's demos, you need to include the LV demos and LV examples header files. Moving on setup function, after initializing each function module, the calling function here will use the LVGL library to run the demo. Since the main focus of this lesson is to utilize LVGL's demos, you don't need to make any changes to the code. Now it's time to install and configure the LVGL library. There are quite a few steps in this process, so please don't miss any of them. Click on Sketch, then find Include Library, open the Library Manager, and search for LVGL. Here, let's select version 8.3. 11 to keep it consistent with mine. Why? Because later in the course, we'll be using a software called SquareLine Studio, and the current latest version of this software only supports 8.3.11. Where can you find this information? You can go to the SquareLine Studio website. Click here to go to the download page and locate the release note. Here, it will tell you about each version's updates and the compatible LVGL versions. Okay, now you know why we're selecting this version, right? Go back to the Arduino IDE and click to install the LVGL library. While it's installing, I'll tell you about SquareLine Studio and why we need it. Don't worry about the previous steps right now, just ignore that part. So, SquareLine Studio is a graphical UI design software. In this program, you can drag and drop controls from the widget panel in the lower left corner to the center of the screen, which helps you quickly design interfaces. Plus, it has a simulation feature, which is pretty cool, right? No rush. I'll teach you how to use it in the next class. The LVGL library is already installed, but we need to configure some important settings. Click on File, open Preferences, and copy the path under Sketchbook Location. This path will take you directly to the library directory. In the library directory, find the LVGL library and locate the file named lvconf template, H. Copy this file into the library directory and rename it to lvconf, H. This is the configuration file for the LVGL library, which it uses to compile the necessary code during each compilation. Next, open it with an editing tool and start configuring the settings. First, change this to 1 according to the comments to enable the content in this file. Once you've done that, scroll down and find LVMem Custom. This is related to LVGL's memory management settings, which require you to estimate and set the size of the memory pool. However, it's quite cumbersome to use, so you can change this to 1 to use the standard library's memory management functions. It will automatically allocate space for you, so you don't have to worry about errors caused by a too small memory pool. Continuing to scroll down, find LVTIC Custom and change it to 1 to use the Arduino library's tick function. After making this modification, you're only left with one more step. Open the search function and search for demo. When you find demo usage, you'll see a macro called LVSedmo widgets. This macro represents the LVGL demo named widgets, which is used in the example code for this class. Therefore, in the configuration file, you need to set this macro to 1. Absolutely. In addition to widgets, there are other LVGL demos like benchmark, stress, and music. In general, the way to use them is to set the macro for the desired demo to 1 and modify the example code to call the corresponding functions. Alright, click Save and then close this file. The LVGL configuration file is now modified. However, there's a crucial step remaining to successfully compile this example code. Open the LVGL library folder and copy the demos and examples folders into the surfc folder. Otherwise, the compiler won't be able to find these folders and their contents during compilation. Now, I've completed all the installation and configuration, and we're ready to compile the code. But if you're curious about how LVGL and LVGL and GFX are connected, pay attention to the next part of my explanation. It might be helpful for you. If not, you can skip this section. First, these lines represent variables used as data buffers. LVGL recommends setting them to about 1/5 of the screen size, as larger values won't have a significant impact. Next, this is LVGL's display driver, which actually utilizes the LVGL and GFX library's pixel drawing function. This allows LVGL to leverage that pixel drawing function to render any widget at any location. Next, we have the LVGL touch driver, which leverages the touch driver function from the LVGL and GFX library. It passes the captured touch information as parameters to the LVGL touch driver function. At this point, you should understand why you need to use another graphics library when working with the LVGL library, and how the LVGL library interfaces with the display driver and touch driver. Let's examine what the setup function does. First, it initializes the serial port, followed by the initialization of the display. Next comes the I/O port's initialization, and immediately after that, the initialization of touch driver, including the display driver and LVGL. Finally, it loads the LVGL widgets demo. Lastly, in the loop function, there's a timer handler function that runs continuously. This function is responsible for periodically executing LVGL tasks with a current interval of 5 milliseconds, which is the recommended value. If the timer handler function is not executed for a prolonged period, the program will crash and the screen will freeze. Alright, the analysis of the example code is now complete. Next, you'll need to configure the compilation settings and upload the code. Click on Tool and select the corresponding board touch chip from the list. If you're unsure how to configure the compilation settings based on your board, please refer to the content from the first lesson, as the compilation process can take quite a while. Incorrect configurations can waste a lot of your time, so it's crucial to ensure that the settings are correct. Once you've configured everything, click on Upload. Since the upload process can also be lengthy, I'll speed up this part of the video. Once the code upload is complete, you'll see this interface on your screen. This demo features various widgets that you can interact with. Alright, that's it for the demonstration of ESP32 RGB screen. The code of ESP32 SPI screen in this lesson also uses the LVGL and GFX library, which is similar except for the hardware and pin configuration. Click on Tools and configure the compilation information. Finally, click Upload. Since the uploading process takes a while, I'll speed up this part of the video. Once the upload is complete, you'll see a screen like this. It looks very smooth, with no lags, and you can see the effects of various components on the screen. Alright, that's all for this lesson. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next lesson.